I have been seeing those cute little bastards all over my FYP on Pinterest, and I feel like they could make the perfect gift idea for a friend who's really into cats. Have I made a plushie like this one before? No. Am I fueled by the sheer confidence and audacity that I can make one today? Yes. So now let's get into the tutorial, and first let me show you what products you will need to make today's plushie. By the way, this is what it looks like. In today's tutorial, you will need any type of double layered fabric. I personally chose jeans because it's very durable and it's also a personal preference of mine. Any buttons of your preference for the eyes. Scissors, fabric chalk to mark where I want to cut the cat. This is the material we're going to use for our filling. This is called polyester fiber fill. You can also use cotton filling. I wouldn't recommend using medical cotton because medical cotton, when it's wet, it tends to like collect together and it's just unpleasant to fill a plushie with. That speaking of my own personal experience. Because I want to be able to wash the plushie that I will make without the material inside doing anything weird, that's why today we are going with the polyester fiber fill. You will need a sewing needle, preferably with like a very wide opening like this one. See how like the opening of this sewing needle is like very wide? This is what we were going to use today. We will need thread, even though this thread is looking very skinny, but I'm going to multiply it inside the needle to make it look thicker. A ruler would be helpful to make marks where we're gonna cut. Because we're making a keychain cat, we will need some type of something to hold like the cat from. I personally choose this type of thread. This type of thread, when you burn it, it like hardens and it connects together like very strong. I saw others also using like bow ties and other stuff. Like you can use anything, but I prefer this one because it's like very durable and it's like really hard to like break. You will also need pins. They're gonna be helpful in general. One of the first steps is drawing where our cat is going to be on the fabric. I have already kind of did like some type of a design type of thing in the back, but since I'm making this tutorial for beginners, I want the drawing part to be as easy as possible. So we're going to make like a plus. Just like that. This is gonna be like extremely helpful to where we want our design to be. In my head, it makes sense to start with the forehead or like the head part first. I've already done like a small mark right here, but I want to make it a little bit more down to make space for the ears where we're gonna draw the ears. So we're gonna start with a line like that, and we're gonna try to make it a little bit curved like this, just for it to be more like cat-like. Now I'm going to try to mark where I want the ears to end, and I think right about here is about where I want the ears to end. I'll just try to make like a line. You can also do it with the ruler like that. I'm also keeping in my mind that I want my design to be a little bit big just to leave space for when we're going to sew, because when we're going to sew it's gonna look like way smaller. Right now I'm gonna try to do another line. I know that a lot of us struggle with shapes. I do too personally, but you know, you can always use things like rulers and other stuff just to help you with the shape. Good job so far. We have done like one of the hardest parts about a cat, I guess. And now to help us visualize like how small or big our cat needs to be, I'm gonna try to put the buttons for the eyes to see where I want the cat face to end. So if I'm gonna do like a little mouth, like an X mouth here, maybe I want the cat head to end right about here. I'm gonna do like another like rough, very light layer of the chalk right here, and also another right here. Our cat is looking a little bit square. Let's try to round up like those sides a little, like make them more of a round shape. Since we are using double layered fabric, it's important that when we cut, like the two layers are identical. So this is where we're going to need our pens to secure Also, do not forget to secure the cat. I'm gonna go one more on all the lines that I drew just to make them more visible for me. This is just gonna make the cutting process like way easier. This is how our cat is looking after cutting. Don't be afraid if your cat is looking a little bit wonky. One of the magical, beautiful things about this keychain cat is that the more wonky it looks, it gives it more of a charm. I messed up a little bit here with the cutting, but I'm not going to worry about that at all. I don't care about fixing it. It still looks very cute. Right now, I feel like it's appropriate to start deciding where I am going to sew like the eyes and the mouth, because I feel like if I started sewing those outsider layers, it's gonna be hard for me to reach the inside to sew these parts. Insert your thread inside your needles. And the same needle, I'm gonna insert the thread once again because I want my thread to be like thick and double layered. And that's why it's important to have like a needle with like a bigger opening like the one I'm using. Decide where you want the buttons or the eyes to be. I personally feel like it's way cuter for them to be like far apart like this. So I'm gonna start sewing in that place. There isn't like a general rule on how to sew buttons. I feel like everyone learns how to sew buttons at a certain point in their life and then they just, you know, do the same thing. But I personally like my buttons to be extremely secured, and that's why I'm gonna like go over this part a couple of times. I done some double layers enough for it to feel a little bit more secured, so now I'm gonna flip it back and I'm going to close it off. The way that I close off my project is not the best, but this is how I have been doing it for years. As long as it's working, why would I change it? After deciding where my second eye is going to be, let's essentially do the same thing and sew it. And that's why the plus like mark we did in the beginning was extremely helpful, because if it weren't for these like plus marks, I would literally lose the track of where I should sew things and do stuff. So far it looks very cute, but I'm gonna wipe all the stuff I did here to decide where I want the mouth to be. Also guys, it's extremely helpful to always have a reference by your side. Like I have Pinterest open on my tablet next to me just to look at the other like keychain cats that are similar to this one, so I wouldn't just lose track of what is the project supposed to look like. I think this is cute. You can do it lower or upper, whatever you feel like it. And now we're gonna sew the mouth. I decided to do like a little thing with the design. I don't know if it's gonna look good or not, but you know, this is trials and errors. I want to secure the X part a little bit more. So I'm gonna insert the needle like right here exactly. I'm gonna go like that, and I wanna do this. Right now I'm gonna work on the part where I'm gonna like basically hold our keychain. So I'm gonna cut right about right here and I'll make a loop. Feels secured enough. But the thing is about this type of thread is that it's like if you hold it like this, it's literally gonna completely undo, so let's just burn the ends. Perfect. We have the other side of our cat. Let's start securing the two parts together again. because we're gonna start sewing. The type of stitch I want to use in today's video is called the blanket stitch. There's a lot of other type of stitch that you can use to do like a project like this one. It doesn't have to be the same stitch that I'm using. This will be the first time for me as well to try this type of stitch for the first time. So don't worry if you feel like you don't know what you're doing. I probably don't know any more than the average person. Also try to make your thread as long as possible, because I feel like it's gonna be super annoying if our thread ran out in the middle of us doing this. I felt like doing this to my edges because I feel like it's gonna make it easier for me to know where my stitches should go. So I feel like starting here, so right in the middle between the two fabrics, I'm gonna insert my needle. And I'm doing this just to hide the ugly knot at the end. I'm gonna push the knot inside, and then making sure that the two layers are identical, I am gonna insert my needle at the same spot where I did this first stitch, like that. And now I'm gonna pull. Don't pull all the way yet. I'm gonna insert my needle from the back through all. We just made our first stitch. We're just gonna secure it a little, and now I'm gonna do another stitch from the back. Don't pull through all of the stitch yet. Going back from inside this direction. And now we successfully made our second stitch. This is the first time for me doing the blanket stitch. I just felt like it looked very decorative, and it's also has this feeling of DIY, and that's why I liked it a lot. Before closing off, I'm gonna do the same thing again. That's why I feel like the line I did with the fabric chalk has also been helping me a lot to know the thickness of the stitch I'm making of the blanket stitch. I'm gonna carefully remove this part, and now we have to be mindful to securing this part right here. Frankly, this part was not easy, as you saw of how shaky I was while making this. Like, I'm trying to do the blanket stitch at the same time I'm trying to secure this part. I'm pulling it very hard, as y'all can see right now, and it is very secured, so I'm very proud of how the stitches came so far. I feel like any part after the ears is going to be like very easy. I'm still going to show you how to do the stitch very slowly, because y'all deserve to see a visual representation of this stitch, because it's not easy for beginners. Inserting my needle from the back, like right here, as y'all can see, pulling my thread, but not all the way yet, because you see this open part right here? From the back or from the right, I'm gonna insert my needle once again. Once again, inserting from the back to the front, but not all the way yet, because I'm gonna insert the needle from the right. And I'm gonna pull, inserting the needle from the back, pulling but not all the way through, just leaving a small part, inserting my needle from the right, pulling all the way through, securing my needle, inserting my needle from the back like this, pulling but not all the way through yet, inserting my needle from the right, pulling. Try not to pull so hard. Inserting my needle from the back, pulling, but not all the way through. Inserting my needle from the right inside, pulling, but not too tight. Inserting my needle from the back, pulling, but not all the way. Inserting my needle from the right inside, pulling but not too tight. My biggest fear just happened and I literally ran out of string in the midst of doing this. So let's try to close this off and make it like look a little bit pretty. I'm genuinely learning with y'all how to do this. I will try to close it from the inside, just like to hide the ugly part. And I also thought this would be an appropriate time to start filling it a little, especially inside the ear. I will use like a small part like this in my tweezers just to try to get this inside the ear. I don't know if you can see it, but it's already, the ears are already getting filled. My paranoia is making me feel like I want to secure this even more, so I'm gonna do like a different type of stitch right here. It doesn't matter if it's gonna look a little bit weird or whatever. Maybe the thread running out was on my side because that would give me a chance to start again from the ear, and then I will have the ability to fill the ear first thing. I will insert this from the inside, right at where I did the first stitch. So right now I feel like we should insert more felt inside the whole plushie now, but let's start again with this ear. So I have filled our cat till like it's appropriate. I think it doesn't need to be filled more than that. So we are gonna work on closing just the last couple of stitches here. And just like that, guys, we literally finished our like cute cat handmade like keychain type of thing. It's really cute. here's our little guy again. Honestly, if you found like the pillow stitch thing to be hard for you, like you can literally make it with any stitch. Like I feel like the more wonkier it looks, the more charming it looks. I love that it has this DIY feeling, you know, it's made with love, and I like this about it. So guys, this is the end of the video. This will be the first time I film a DIY video on YouTube, so please be kind with me. But also, if you have any constructive criticism to me about, you know, the angle of filming or the way that I'm explaining things, please kindly leave them down below, because I am planning to make more DIY videos in the future if I can. Just understand that English is not my first language. Sometimes it gets really hard for me to explain what's in my head and then translate it to English. But I just really hope that you enjoyed this, and also like leave me anything you want to ask about in the comments down below. And if you want to see more DIY videos, just, you know, suggest them to me. Consider myself to be a very crafty person, and I make a lot of things myself, so just, you know, feel free to leave any suggestion or anything that I should film for you down below in the comments. I have been Raccoon Kimmy. Bye.